Almost every single day I get the questions like, Sinead, how do I personal user experience on my website? Sinead, how do I detect user country, user continent, user language, etc, etc. So in this tutorial we are going to cover all of that and a lot more. So stay with me. Hey, what's up guys? Sinead here from codingpassiveincome.com, the place where I help others to become a web developer much easier and faster than they will do it on their own. So if that is something that interests you, make sure that you subscribe. So before we actually start with this tutorial, I want to explain what we are going to create. So basically, let's imagine that we have this very simple website, and on this website, for whatever reason, we need to detect the basic details from your visitors. And that includes the position, which is latitude and longitude, then the country, city, continent, and then we also want to create one map here, and for that we are going to use Google Maps to display from where the visitor is. So in order to achieve that, there are different methods and ways to do it, and we are able to use in now the new feature in the most browser, which is geolocation, but with that one we are able to only detect the latitude and the longitude, and I'm going to show you that. But also in most cases we have an issue that doesn't going to work, because it can happen that visitor doesn't want to allow you access to their location, or that there's some error, or that maybe your browser doesn't support geolocation, etc, etc. So let's first see how to do it and how to detect if there is any issue and what we are going to do from there. So in order to detect those two using the geolocation, and basically this is just the simple template that I'm using here, nothing special. So here I'm going to write one simple script, okay, and then what I want to say is if geolocation in navigator. So this means that we first want to make sure that actually geolocation does exist in the current browser, and if it doesn't, then in that case we are going to say, let's say we will make a call to the functions, let's say IP lookup. We don't have it at the moment, but we are going to have one, so maybe I will just define it here for now. Okay, now here the next thing that we can do is we can use this navigator. So we can say navigator dot geolocation dot get current position, and now to this method, as you can see here, we can provide multiple parameters, but pretty much the two most important that we are looking for is the success function and the one for the error. So I will say here, okay, we will have one function for success, okay, and then here we are going to have one function for error. So maybe I will say here error, and then here I will say position, okay. And in case, let's say that we have any error, we will want to switch to IP lookup, and in case if everything is okay, let's say we will want to print the position. So let's say I will say console log position, okay. And for this example I'm going to put everything on my server and use it there because of the settings that I have for my maps, so I will show you later what do I mean by that. And here you can see now when I refresh this page, it asks me for my location. So if I say allow, and let me open the console, you can see now in the console we have printed the position, and for the position we have coordinates, which includes latitude and the longitude, and accuracy. And pretty much that's it. We don't get anything else in terms of using the geolocation. And let's maybe try this. So here what you are able to say, let's say that our latitude is equal position dot coordinations dot latitude, and then same thing for the longitude. Okay, like this. And then from here we can do whatever we want with these details. So for example, we can say here, you can see I have here for each, so I can say, okay, latitude dot text, okay, and then the same thing for the longitude, okay. And let's see, have an upload, yeah. Okay, yeah, didn't include a jQuery. Okay, let's quickly do it. Okay, I'll put it here. So I'll say here HTTPS, and then maybe what we can do here is also to wait for the document to be ready. Now once we have the jQuery, I mean we could do it even from the JavaScript, of course. Okay. Okay, and now we can see that we have got those two details that we are looking for, but we are missing those three. So in cases where those two will be enough and where you feel that you can rely only on the browser, then that is fine. So now maybe let's see how we can create a map here based on those two position details. So first you'll want to go to your Google Cloud Platform. Here is the link if you want to, and then you will want to create a new project. And once you have created a new project, you can go to the APIs and services, and then here go to the library, and here we are looking for basically two APIs to activate. First is JavaScript API for the maps. Button will be here so you can enable. It's already for me. And then the next one is for the embed, so maps embed API, and then again you need to activate. Now once you activate this one, you want to go to the manage, go to the credentials, and then here if you don't have one, you will be able to create a new key, and just then go to edit. Okay, and then here what we are looking for is the API key, but also we want to restrict our API key just for the theft. So for that reason I have said that I allow for any HTTP refers, but I have said here only from my website. Okay, and then you can also include here restriction key, but that's not that much important if you have enabled this here. Okay, and then I will need this API key, but first let's see how to embed map. So I will go here, and then here all I want to do is just show a map of an area, and I will just grab this code. Okay, and I'm going to paste it here in my map. So maybe I can remove this, and I will say here that width will be 100%. Okay, and you can see here everything is pretty much what we need to know. So we need to know the zoom, which is basically you can, if you don't know how to, you can pretty much start clicking here and see which one will be good for you. I already did that, so let's say we will start with 12. Now the next one is key. Okay, so key is this one. Okay, and then we also need to center, which means that we need to use our latitude and the longitude. Okay, so here I will leave empty, and what I'm going to do is I will just grab this URL, cut. Okay, and then what I want to do is I will append this URL once I know those two details. So what I can do is maybe I can define URL. Okay, and I will paste here, and then I need now to just put my latitude and longitude, and they need to be in position. So let's say here position is equal, it needs to be with the comma, okay, like this. So then I can say here something like plus position, okay, and then of course I just want to say that my iframe attribute source will be this URL, okay. And now let's see if we did everything correctly. We should see our map, okay, fresh, and boom, here it is, okay. So now we have detected the latitude, longitude, and we have created a map with, and basically let me show you now. If I change this zoom, so maybe I can see 14, pretty much you know what is going to happen. So when I refresh, you can see it will be much more zoom, nothing else, okay. So I'll just leave it to 12, and then I want maybe a little bit bigger map, so I'll say height, I'd say 300 pixels, okay. And that's it. Now what is going to happen in case that this doesn't work? So maybe we have run here into the error, or geolocation doesn't exist in the navigator, or in case that we want to get some additional details like continent, country, etc. So in that case I would love to use UserInfo. Pretty much there is a huge number of different libraries that we are able to use in order to detect user details, visitor details, but the one that I use is UserInfo. It's free and it's pretty much accurate. Now of course you can scroll down and really see the accuracy. So continent 99.9, country 95%, city 50%, and latitude, longitude close to the 50%. Now of course, depending on your project, you are going to decide which one you are going to use. Of course, before you use any, you should make decision and really see these details, so you know what is extremely like a must detail that you need to have. So for example, I have been working with the projects where city was something like we need to know 100%. So in that case you can use some paid service like MaxMind or some others, but in this tutorial pretty much those details is still good enough. So what I love to do is I don't like to include these libraries if I don't have to, so I love to work with the REST API. So as you can see, they provide us very simple way to do it. We can just make a GET request to this URL and we will be able to get all the details, which is amazing. So when we open this URL, okay, you can see that they are going to return to us JSON object with all the details, including the IP, the position, the continent, the country, the city. Pretty much that's all that we need to have for this tutorial. So let's do it. So let's say that here inside this function we are going to make a GET request to that URL, and then let's say on the callback we are just going to print everything to the console for now, or maybe we can just execute this directly in the browser so we can see how it works. Okay, and here we go. Now this is the response, and here we go. You can see that it is exactly the same as we have here. Okay, so here I will just copy this, and maybe what we are able to do is create a new function. Let's say function show user details, and then maybe we will just have let's say latitude, longitude, and maybe some object with additional details. So let's say additional. Okay, and then I'm going to copy all of this and paste here. Okay, and then here I will just say that like this. So I will say show user details, and then I will say latitude, then longitude, and then the empty. Or maybe I don't need to define it at all, but so by default we are going to have all these details. Okay, and then for the additional we are able to say something like if maybe type of additional different than undefined. In that case that means that we have additional details like country, etc., which we are able to get from this. Okay, so now let's say we will say show user details, and now for the latitude and the longitude we are able to say that we'll get them from the position, and then okay, so we are able to say that position dot latitude, then the same thing for the longitude, and then we are passing the entire object. Okay, so let's test this. Maybe I can for now remove this, and we can say here that maybe for now, since we do have geolocation and it's going to work, so let's say by default we want to use IP lookup for now. Okay, now when we refresh, okay, boom, now we can see that it is working. We have again detected the latitude, longitude, and also generated map, and we all of that did it through UserInfo. You can see here that we have made a request, got all the details, and that's it. Okay, now the next thing is we want to display additional details here, which is country, city, and continent. And you can see for each of those three we are able just to say the object dot and then directly whatever we want dot name, which is great. So let's do it. So here I will say that our country dot text is additional dot country dot name, and same thing for the city and for the continent. Okay, and then here we are going to say okay, we have additional details. So let's see if we did everything correctly. It should work. And boom, that's it. Now you can see that we have got all the details and all works correctly. But also now let's make a test with entire functionality just in case that there's some issue. Okay, so let's see. Okay, and boom, it is working. We don't have any error in the console, and we can see here that we have the latitude, longitude, but we don't have those additional details, which is okay. Alright guys, so pretty much that's it. We have learned a lot in this tutorial. Now you know how you can easily personalize the user experience on your website and also detect all the key details that you probably need in your personalization. And yeah, like always, if you have any questions or anything, please ask in the comments below. And of course, if you like this tutorial, if you find it helpful, please share it with your friends. Take care.